Hello again, and here we are ready to start section 5 of the Beach Walk blanket. All the mini grannies are joined and the outside edge has been done, and I am pleased to say that every end has been sewn in nice and neatly. It didn't take long actually. I did try to time myself, and I don't know, was it about half an hour, something like that, just to sew in the ends. It really isn't a big problem. Right, so we're ready to start section 5. We've got everything. This was my last end, which I'm just going to leave until I have completed the next section. And for the next section, we're turning the blanket over onto its reverse side once more. I'll just put it this way. So this is the reverse side of the blanket. You can tell, of course, by the join. And we're going to actually just make a few rounds of granny clusters, granny stripe clusters, which is just the 3 treble stitches in the spaces, just like we did with this round immediately after section 2. And we're starting again with this grey colour. So basically what's happened is that we've done our round of mini grannies, which have been joined with the grey. It came after a round of the granny stripe in grey, and we're going to finish this off with a round of granny stripe in grey. And then we'll do another few rounds. They won't be a problem at all. We're just going to extend the size of the blanket a little bit by putting in some rounds of granny clusters. So as usual, we're just going to start in any corner. Again, remind you, it's the wrong side. And I'm going to attach my yarn. This is just a fraction thicker, this yarn. You won't be having this problem. I ran out of my Stylecraft Special in grey yesterday, and I had to get an emergency delivery, which was really speedy, but it wasn't Stylecraft Special. I had to pick up what was it called? The Hayfield Bonus. The colour is exactly the same, but it is just a fraction thicker, but that's not going to affect my blanket in any way. Right, so I chain 2. We're back on to working with treble stitches. US terms, that's double crochet. So chain 2 and 2 trebles in that same corner. 1, 2. Now the reason I'm not saying to you, just go ahead and make a round of granny clusters, is because we still have these joins to contend with. We've got one space immediately after the corner, 1, 2, 3, with 3 trebles. And then we're on this point where the 2 corners join. So what we do, if you'll remember, is we're going to put a decreasing or treble 2 together decreasing stitch over the top of the join. So we're going to treble 1 in the first corner, and then start a second treble stitch, but stop when there are still 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, go into the next corner, and you've got 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3. That gives you the decreasing stitch, and then finish with the single treble stitch. So that is the cluster sitting on top of the join. So again, there will be one space where you just put your 3 trebles in as normal, and then you're straight on to the next part where you've got the join. Treble 1, treble 2 together, treble 1. So you need to work round all the 4 sides in this way. Of course, it's treble 3, chain 2, treble 3 in each of the outside corners. And when you get back to the very first corner, of course, you've only done 3 stitches in it, so you need to finish that off with treble 3, chain 2, and slip stitch into the top of the first chain 2, and then you can finish off. And by the time you have done one side, including the treble clusters at each end, you should have 31 clusters of 3 trebles. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work all the way around with this grey, and I'll come back when I'm ready to start the next round. So I'll see you then. So the round 1 of this section is finished, and I've got my end sewn in. So my next job, and I'm just going to show you this one, and then I'll go on and do the other stripes because they're all the same now. So we're working with Mocha for the next round, and as you can see, I've turned my blanket over again because you'll be turning it after each round. So it's turned over, it's now on its right side, and this is exactly the same as the previous round. It's going to be treble stitches in clusters of 3, but this is actually an easier round because we don't have the join between the squares from the last section to contend with. So it's simply a case of 3 treble clusters in each space all the way round. So you'll get round this one pretty quickly. So it's 1, 2, 3 treble clusters so that it looks just like that. And when you come to the decreasing cluster over the join in the previous round, just remember that you jump right over it. It looks a little bit bigger than an ordinary cluster, but it doesn't matter. You can go right over the top. There are only 3 stitches there, and make your next cluster from the second round. There we go, and that's what it looks like. So I will work around it, and when you're finished on this round of Mocha, you'll have 32 clusters along each side. And then we're going to be doing another round in the grey, so you'll finish off with 33 clusters, and then grape with 34 clusters, and then the final round is the Parma Violet, and it will have 35 clusters. So I will come back when I've done the Parma Violet, just to let you see it. Remember, turn your blanket over after each round, and I'll see you then.